Hello and welcome to K-Stop, Fuse's K-Pop podcast. Hello everybody, this is Jeff Benjamin, and as always I am joined by the B.I. to my Bobby, Tina Zhu.
Hey.
Was that a compliment? I meant it to be.
I only really know Bobby.
Okay, then you're Bobby.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, does that mean I'm always on one? Because Bobby's pretty much always on one.
Yeah.
He's wild.
He's a wild
I don't know,
one.
like I couldn't even handle it, like watching the new releases, which
Watching
we'll
the
get
new
into
releases,
later. He's
yes.
just, it's never a dull moment with him.
Never a dull moment with him, with
So yeah,
K-pop
I guess that's a
in general.
compliment.
Okay, well
Yeah.
good. I'm glad it was a compliment
Yay.
then.
Welcome to another episode of K-Stop. We've got some great releases to cover this week.
Yeah, it's a good week. Lots of good stuff just in general to talk about, so I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah,
How's
we'll
your weekend?
my weekend?
Yeah.
My weekend was really fun. I did a lot of fun things. By that I mean like drank a lot, but
Oh yeah, okay. That's what my mind immediately went to, but I was like, not everyone is, always downing wine like you are. So maybe Jeff's idea of fun is something more productive. I don't know.
oh my gosh, I love it. Yes,
But that's
and then
fair.
but you had a good weekend though, even though
I had a
you're
pretty good weekend, minus the part where I busted my foot. Went out
Yes.
Saturday night and was reaching for the door of a restaurant or someplace we were at, and there was a step that had an incline that I didn't notice, so I
No.
rolled my foot so hard I saw lights.
Oh my gosh, really?
It was so painful.
Oh, that's never
But
happened
thank
to me.
goodness it was just like a light sprain or twist or
Gosh,
something.
yes.
So could have been much worse. And I wasn't wearing heels.
Okay.
I'm never wearing heels ever because there's always the potential of completely like fucking up your foot.
Me neither. Never wearing them again.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, so I was kind of like out of commission the past couple of days. But
Yes, you're back in the office
I
today
hobbled
for
my
your
way
first
to
time.
work. It's it looks worse than it really is, but it's just annoying because when you live in New York, not having
Yeah.
mobility, like full mobility,
Yes.
is a huge issue.
Oh my gosh.
Since all we do is walk here.
You said
so.
it, sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
but
exactly. But you've been camping out on
hopefully-
your couch and
Yes,
hanging
being
out.
useless.
So send Tina some love and some good thoughts, and you guys can't see it, but there's a big purple bump on her foot right
Yeah,
now. It's
very
really
cute, very sexy.
really cute. So I love it personally. I gave it a name.
So hopefully I'll be fine in a few days.
Yes. Well, hope you guys are doing well and you guys have been having fun this past week and everything. It's great to be back for another episode of K-Stop. And yes, you guys know you are part of this podcast as much as we are. We ask you every week to share your thoughts on whether it's on Fuse.tv or whether it's on Twitter. You can hit us up individually or together, of course. My Twitter name is Jeff__Benjamin.
And I'm at hey_Tina with 3 A's.
Yeah. So you guys sent us some comments about last week's episode. And well, I mean, there's a couple things to get into, so let's just start right now. So Drew, who is at VRTroopers13, wrote to both of us and used the hashtag K-Stop. He said, I love both Psy and Twice. Which is two of the artists we reviewed last week. But we also talked about some scandals and talked about if there actually were scandals that were involved with AOA's Choa. And Drew mentioned, I think the Choa thing has more to do with idols' desirability, if that. And I say that because if an idol is seen dating, then their desires with the audience go down because they want them single for the fanboys. Which is, I mean...
I'm surprised we actually didn't
We didn't mention
that. And yeah, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. That's definitely very, very true. It is, a business and they are essentially selling a product. So, and I guess that kind of goes for, fan bases in the States as well. It's just not as, black and white, like, oh, we must confirm it, or you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, oh, you see a photo of two people together, you assume they're dating, and there's some, tweets about it, and some, they might post some articles being like, oh, the rumors are true. But,
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
It
If
feels
anything,
more natural here.
right. That's a good point. The reveal it's not like a gotcha thing here.
Right,
It's kind of like, oh, are they dating? Aren't they dating? And they don't need to like run to their artist and like
Right.
confirm or not confirm.
Right. Yeah.
That's
It's
a
not
good-
seen off the bat as negative, right?
Yeah, and
So-
it's almost kind of like yeah, but this actually sort of feeds into another comment we got about this issue, which came from Vancity K-pop at Rachel_Gray31, who wrote, the whole Choa controversy could have been avoided if her company had just been forthright from the start. Plus, media speculating much. Hashtag K-stop. And a great gif of Pink from her Stupid Girls video with the lyric that says, where have the smart people gone? I love Pink in that song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's almost like it's so tricky too, because it's like almost in the sense that, well, I think this is actually referring more to the fact that they didn't talk about why she was missing from the appearances and stuff like that initially. But yeah, it's almost kind of like the company can kind of set the attitude, right? It's like
Right.
it can kind of be like, if they're sort of on top of things and making sure things don't get flame out too much, it can kind of save everyone's face, save everyone's skin in the end, when which is kind of what we're trying to say, I think, at least with like what we see with Western celebrities. It's like, if
for
they're
sure,
kind of not taking it to be all so serious and ridiculous, maybe we don't need to, maybe fans won't as much. I don't know. Interesting. But at the same time, there's been so many like of those speculated relationships that were never confirmed or like Harry Styles and Kendall Jenner, like why wasn't that ever, like would they not mention those because they want those two to remain desirable? They're two humongous celebrities, like I could almost see that.
But maybe with those two individuals in particular, it's not as surprising when you see them kind of canoodling with someone, just because they are so desirable and they are very, connected and kind of more or less associate with the same crowd maybe. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know about Choa. I don't follow AOA very much, but maybe she isn't, maybe it's just more surprising for Choa, maybe. I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
No, I think you're onto something there. Yeah.
It might also be, to an extent, case by case.
Yeah. Because I
As
remember
we
it was like
mentioned
about a
with-
CEO and everything.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little, it was more surprising.
Maybe it was a little more
I see
sketch.
what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Well, it was a good discussion. We're glad we got some good comments about it. So
Yeah.
thank you guys, as always, for those comments. And we have some more throughout the episode, too. So before we move into this week's episode, let's look at what we reviewed last week, where we asked you guys, of course, to vote on your favorite release of the past week. Like we mentioned, we reviewed Psy, who came back with I Love It and New Face, Twice's Signal, along with Vix's Shangri-La, and who got number one but Vix with
I knew
Shangri-La,
it.
67%.
Their fan base is Starlight, correct?
Yeah, Starlight
They-
came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty tough.
They were. Yeah. And then Psy came in second place with 20%, and just behind him was Twice with 13%.
Did we all vote for Vix?
I think
we
I gave it to Vix. Yeah. And the more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it. I'm
Yeah, that was a great
became such a
release.
fan. Yeah. Well, thank you guys as always for voting and sending your thoughts. But yeah, let's just get right into this week's episode. And Tina, who is first on your list?
I think we should start with 17 because
Ooh.
I freaking love this new release.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I was like telling Jeff earlier at the office, like as soon as he got it, I was like, I love this new single.
Yes.
And why I like it was very, very apparent from the get-go. I don't know if it's just I can easily peg the type of songs I like, and maybe maybe I'm just very basic when it comes to pop production.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
But Obviously, gotta start with the title. It's called "Don't Want to Cry," right?
Don't
Want to
wanna
Cry.
don't wanna cry.
And it's off, I think, their fourth mini album.
This is their fourth mini album. Yeah,
Yes.
probably fifth or sixth overall release.
Yeah. I can't remember the title of the EP. Is it A1?
I think it's AI1.
AI1.
Artificial intelligence. No, I don't actually know what it stands for.
I have no idea what that means. I didn't
Yeah.
look into that, but so yeah. What was the last?
Last one was Boom
Release
Boom.
them. Boom
Remember
Boom.
the
Oh,
Boom
we
Boom?
did like
bada, bada,
that.
Boom Boom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel like their previous releases have always been kind of like funk pop and dancey, always
very
dancey.
right.
for the
It's always
most
been
part.
very like punchy, poppy.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, and like they always come with very like striking palettes and concepts.
Yeah.
Very memorable. And we've covered a lot, or Jeff has covered them on Fuse.tv a lot, and they were at KCON, so
Yeah.
they're definitely a favorite of ours. So the new single, I was very pleasantly surprised they took a different approach.
They did.
For lack of a better comparison, it basically sounds like they took a page out of the Chainsmokers production.
Yeah, everyone's saying it.
which-
Yep.
Yeah, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing for me because I love kind of cinematic, atmospheric pop synthy tracks with EDM, edge to it, which is
Yeah.
basically what I think this song is, more or less. A bit more melodic. There are some, there's ad libs in there, like they usually, like Seventen usually has. And the song, like if you've heard the Chainsmokers track with Coldplay,
Something just like
something
this.
just like this.
Yeah.
It's a very similar beat to that,
Yeah.
mixed with like a tinge of Closer. But
But 17 ended the Chainsmokers with this song.
yeah,
No,
it's
just
like,
kidding.
I think it's an elevated version of all.
Oh,
of that.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
as like beat. It's not as like super heavy on the production on the beats. Like I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
Chainsmokers, the back audio kind of overpowers the song
Oh,
sometimes.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Whereas this one, I feel like 17's track is much more balanced.
Yeah.
And there wasn't rapping, I believe. Like none of the hip hop line rapped, right? I think they all sang. I think they said this was like a vocal track.
I feel like there were some rap moments, but they were
Yeah.
very small compared,
Right.
like to like the overall singing.
Yeah.
And I remember even like S Coops, the leader who's in the rap line, like
Okay.
kind of towards the end has like this like vocal moment. I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah,
him
yeah,
sing
yeah.
like this,
So, I just thought it was very catchy, and I definitely am not bothered by them going more trendy, I guess.
Yeah.
And what we're more used to hearing on the radio these days.
Right.
It seems like most people, despite like they've picked up on the Chainsmokers influence as well, but it
Yeah.
seems like it's more positive feedback.
Yeah. I've noticed that too.
Yeah.
I
I don't
think
know, because I
it's-
know you really like their previous releases. So
Oh,
I was like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know if Jeff will like this.
Well, no, I'm always for a group, trying new things or having diversity. And that's the thing is that 17, I've listened to all their albums at this point, which is what I try to do with so many groups, but it's not always possible. But yeah, I didn't feel like this was as even much of a surprise of a turn, because I know they've done these kind of euphoric, I know they've been dabbling in this for a while, because they are a group that writes and composes and like produces their own stuff. So it was kind of like I was like, oh, okay, like this is them exploring that side of themselves this time.
Okay.
And it's just never been done, on like a title track or a single or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, I just think the results are just I'm so impressed and so happy with them,
Yay.
because I think it has this really not, like the Chainsmokers music. I know what people say.
That's right. We are like the two token chain smokers, like fans in the office.
I know. I don't know if I call myself like a fan.
Oh, I'm definitely a fan.
And I know why they get such a bad rap, because, you know, the music is very like, listen to one Chainsmoker. I do this all the time with like my brother in the car. I'll like one song, whatever song is of theirs is on the radio, and I'll like start singing another one of their songs over that and another, and I'll just show it's very, and I know why they get that whole like Nickelback comparison, because their music has the same kind of progression and
like a one note kind of
and like, you know, on one hand though that's not very creative, but on the other hand I like still enjoy it. Like I still feel like
I mean, if it sounds good, I'll listen to it. If
good.
It's not like personally offensive to me,
that's
you
the
know?
thing is that so I do enjoy that. I love that Coldplay collaboration. Closer, of course, got a little overplayed, but
I will always jam to that.
I
freaking love that song.
I don't dislike it. So, you know, even with, and I was actually doing my little test, like if I could like sing over the Chainsmokers songs, like with this song, and I don't think I was successful with it, but like, so it wasn't like a It wasn't like
it wasn't like a blatant rip-off or anything, but the influence was definitely there.
No, exactly. They're definitely going for that vibey, atmospheric, like you were saying. And, you know, it has this really nice emotional touch to it, which is what I really liked from it. Like, I could kind of, like, the, you know, I'm not going to sing the chorus, but, like, the like, dun, 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 yeah, or no.
Indeed,
but, like, it just kind of has this, like, nice, like, feeling that kind of, like, pulls you in. And, like,
it definitely has more, as you said, emotional pull to it than you know,
than their past singles for sure. And you know, they didn't, and I do like that, you know, that they didn't go with like a typical like, here's a heart-wrenching ballad if we want to show our emotional side, you know, like and it's kind of like another unexpected turn. It's almost kind of like Winner, who brought like this tropical house sound. Like, it's really cool. We're kind of seeing, you know, these K-pop bands in particular do with EDM stuff, and like things that I feel like don't usually pack that like sort of emotional punch, like kind of how they're doing it in like these different ways. So I'm a big fan of the track in particular.
Do you think visually the video reflected the singles vibe?
You know, I'm not mad at the video. I really like, you know, from those first opening scenes. I tweeted about this that like I just got like chills, because like just sort of like hearing those opening notes and like seeing the guys, and like it had this really like big kind of impactful feel right from the start, and I was like, oh, here we go.
I totally agree. I loved it.
Yeah, and there were so many cool, you know, I wrote down so many like cool moments, like those leans at the beginning.
I love them. They're so synchronized. It blows my mind how you have that many people. And you're still so clean with your choreography.
They were nearly perfect. I'm of course a nitpicker when it comes to group choreography.
There were a couple moments that were like, that's a little dramatic for me, but
yeah, well, exactly. And like, and you know, like they have like twice as many members as like most groups out there, let's be honest. So when I saw like a member or two kind of be like a little slow with a certain move, I was like, okay, I can't be that mean. I can't be too mean. And I was like, oh, they're so close. But no, there were just so many cool visuals, like the hands on the chorus, and like the X, and those faraway shots.
The overhead
with the lines.
shot was dope.
That was so cool. And like
was this shot in New York?
You know, I think that was shot in Los Angeles.
Really? Because I saw a scene with the crosswalks and yellow cabs.
Oh, really?
So I thought it was really
thought
quick.
It was Los Angeles. Because where are those windmills in New York? I feel like we do not have those.
I guess. I mean, it didn't look like New York at first, but then I don't know if there's somewhere in LA that has. Do they have yellow cabs there? I'm just confused where the cabs came from.
Doesn't every place have cabs?
Well, not yellow cabs.
Chicago has yellow cabs.
Oh, they're not in Chicago though. Right?
I'm just saying it might be cabs otherwise.
I just don't know. But no, you're right.
It was
that
way.
It didn't seem like New York. But then, I think
maybe it
just
was
a
set or something. Could have been a set.
I think the cap just threw me off.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it would make sense if it were LA.
Yeah, it looked
There was
really
a lot
good.
of Spanish happening.
Yeah, and I liked it, and I thought, like on one hand, like sometimes I was like, oh, I kind of wish they were using these like epic, like formations and stuff like that for something really fierce. But I was like, no, it really works well. Like
I thought it still had the intended effect.
yeah,
you
it
know?
definitely was. Yeah, it definitely had an impact.
And I love that they managed to still incorporate really impressive choreography to a song like this, because the song isn't like a punchy song.
No.
So I
Oh,
wasn't
right.
sure what to expect, but they still incorporated
Yeah.
that,
And it was
perfectly.
right, and it was cool because you didn't see so many what am I trying to say? You saw them doing different things. Like, 17 is very known for these very theatrical, big group movements. But then there were like moments where like someone would get like a little solo. Like Woozy got a solo, who is not known to be a dancer, not known to be like like someone not in the performance team.
Wait,
it was cool.
What was he wearing?
He was he's the shortest one,
Okay.
if you remember him. He like had
Was he in the beginning with like
yeah,
black and yellow?
yeah. He had like, I think his sweater said
Oh,
Converge or
that was-
something.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's the same person I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of was in the very beginning, and he was just in the front doing his little like, what looked like, I'm sorry, I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but he looked like one of those Olympic gymnasts doing the floor routine.
Oh,
And like
that's
really
kinda
over
funny.
the top and dramatic
Oh, really?
and very theatrical. And I was like, I don't know if I like this.
Oh no, I
But,
loved it.
So that was one of the moments where it was a little iffy for me.
I love that little part. I thought he was slaying it.
I was like, I felt like he just needed one of those like
Oh my god. Oh, like rhythmic gymnastics.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
What is happening right now? But
Maybe.
I was
So
just,
maybe.
I was just confused a little bit.
So maybe his dance solo wasn't as successful as I thought it was, but but I really liked. I like that they were trying like different things, and we're seeing different formations. I saw someone on Twitter mention like, oh, I'm so glad 17 like graduated from like the musical theater concept, and I'm like,
that's
legitimate.
totally fair. Actually,
But
Very Nice was totally that vibe.
I mean, I love that stuff, but like, and I'm kind of curious. Well, I've sort of been trying to keep my eye. It's been a crazy past couple days, but so much drinking. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But I think it's been doing like really well on the charts in Korea, at least. Like 17.
Oh, you're about
like
to ask if it's like resonating with
compared to
domestic audiences.
Yeah, like I think it's probably, I can't totally tell, but I think it's been their like most successful one on the charts so far, doing better than a certain boy group we'll talk about soon. But I'm really
Which
surprised.
doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, it's just because I was kind of curious. I was like, oh, will this kind of maybe turn off fans, or like, do they, because I think 17 has sort of been at least the winning group when it comes to like these sort of bright, charmy, Boy Scout, schoolboy.
Right.
None of this is supposed to be a detract from what they are. They're like, it's like, I love this stuff, and like, I think, because I was even reading like about like YG like wanting to like bring out a new boy group in like that sort of same vein.
What?
So now here's 17 switching up their styles and almost going a little more, I don't know. I don't know if this reminded me of anyone in particular, but it's sort of like had sort of like a very different feel than they've done in the past. So I'm glad that it's been successful. It seems like fans and the general public are interested in it. So I'm curious to see how they do on the charts too.
Yeah, I love it. And there's another track on the EP called
the EP's very
If
good.
I
Yeah.
think it's the third track, and it's very similar to this one, but I also really like it. But not the whole EP is like this. There's the last couple, or the CD only ones I haven't heard. There are two more kind of sandwich in the middle that I'm, not my cup of tea, but might be someone else's. So I think it's still a pretty, good mixed bag.
Yeah.
For this EP.
And I saw that they did a lot. There's a lot of units on this one. Like it's a lot more.
Well, it's so strange because the second track is credited as the hip hop unit single.
Oh, is it?
Or track, and it's not available on Spotify. They blacked it out, and I don't know
Really?
why they did that.
what's it called? Habit? Oh,
Yes,
Habit.
Habit,
Oh,
which
I
I
listen, I
haven't
think I
heard.
like that
So
one. Interesting. Yeah, no, it's in there. There's some team stuff. There's like one that's just done by like Jun and the Eight, who I think are
hmm
both like Chinese members. That's the
okay,
My
right.
Eye song. So, um, oh yeah, and then there's like some CD only
CD
songs. I
only.
gotta. Oh my gosh, might have to pick up a copy like at my local K-pop store. Um, I hate
Shouts to
slash
Cornell
love when they do
Books.
that. Yeah, seriously, it's true. Oh man,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think very successful release
Yeah,
comeback.
very
I'm
excited to see how it
very
does.
impressed.
I hope it's a big moment for them. So we'll see. There's a lot of competition out there right now. My gosh,
Yeah.
it's a big time for K-pop. So congrats, or no, I don't know why I'm saying congrats. We love it, 17.
It's only a
Let's.
matter of time. I don't want to jinx it though.
Yeah, seriously, gosh, who
What should we
knows?
talk about next? What are the
Yeah,
other- oh, let's. I guess let's switch it to a solo with a feature solo guest.
let's take a break from the boy band
This
for a second.
is technically an American release, but
Yeah,
we love our boy Dean,
yeah.
and he's back with a new release called Love, and it features Sid, who is the front woman of the internet, an
Yeah.
LA-based funk soul R&B group. They stemmed from Odd Future for
Right.
those who are fans of Odd Future. So Sid has been, doing a lot of solo stuff. Dropped a solo album, right? Full length.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So those who are familiar with Sid's work know that she is very kind of like loungy, groovy, alt R&B vibe.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting to see Dean work with her.
Right.
I don't know what I was expecting. When I first heard the song, I think I wasn't in the right environment. I was on my couch, immobile,
Miserable.
and my laptop has, obviously not very stellar speakers.
Ah,
So I don't think I heard it in the way that it should have been heard.
that's
So
interesting.
I didn't like it at first.
Oh.
Because I think I'm so used to Dean doing very like soulful kind of like,
Yeah.
what's the word? Like kind of June K-esque type of stuff, right?
Right.
So what were your first thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for that introduction because I know for those who didn't know Sid as much, and that includes me to an extent. I think that was a great introduction.
Thank you.
So
SYD.
yeah, no,
not
definitely worth.
SID.
Yes, right. SYD, definitely worth checking her out. And yeah, I think well, first of I really liked it when I heard it. I love the opening kind of shuffly salsa house sound. I don't really know how to explain it better, but yeah, I was really intrigued. But yeah, also was expecting loungy vibes, kind of chilled
Maybe
out.
a little like slower tempoed.
Exactly. and then I turn it on or I clicked play and I did have headphones on and I was, definitely in a mindset, but I was like really, really digging it. And I just thought it was just such a cool thing at first because it became like really clear that this is sort of like two people talking back and forth to one another. At least it's kind of,
Yes, yeah.
I think that was the intended effect, but it's so interesting to me too because Sid is queer or, she, I know I've read this interview, like she hates the word lesbian, but yeah, she is like, it was almost controversial for her to be in a group like Odd Future because they kind of got called out a lot for
Right.
like using homophobic
Right.
slurs and things like that. And she's like, oh yeah, it was sort of like their get out of jail free card. And then I left, So, it's really interesting not only to see a Korean artist collaborate with, someone who's out and, proud and gay and whatnot,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
but also just take this something just as simple as love, the title is literally just love, and turn it into sort of this back and forth to one another, and I think that's really beautiful and like
Yeah,
special
yeah,
and like
absolutely.
awesome that they did this, like
Right.
first and foremost just like the concept of it all. I'm such like a
Right.
fan
I think
and in
the
love of it.
concept is really dope.
Yes.
the song, it's like, so what's funny is that I sit next to two avid R&B listeners at work.
Yes.
Misa Pitter and Mark Sundstrom.
Shout out.
And I was telling them about this. I was like, so Misa loves Sid, and Mark, I'm assuming, loves both, but he
does like Dean.
I tend to alert him when Dean releases something.
Yeah.
Since he really likes Dean too. And I was like, okay, y'all, like Dean dropped this new single with Sid and I had high expectations, but it's not that good. And then they listened to it and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? This is dope. So then I listened to it again. I'm like, okay, I think with better headphones now, it does sound better. But I do think it's a type of song that I need to be at a lounge after work sipping martinis.
A lounge. We love the word lounge.
Yeah,
we always say it's lounge.
To really feel it. Because if it's this type of track, if I heard it live or heard it on really great speakers while I'm chilling at the bar and having a good time, it would be a much better mood and setting for me, and I would definitely be like, oh, what's this track called? I love it. Like, so I guess like it's a really good example of, for me at least personally, a song that, depending on the environment and other elements, really affects my overall impression of it. I thought the video was cute. I thought the play on, the theme of aviation was cute.
I can't tell if I'm in love with it or like I don't like it.
I like it. I think I like the whole experimental vibe of it.
Yeah.
I think it fits both of them.
Yeah.
Because I think they're both very kind of artsy and like to try different things.
Right.
I don't know if I'd watch the video multiple times.
Right. Yeah. And then, it was interesting because, I guess kind of the internet is known for this sort of doing these kind of things, but then the tempo and the vibe kind of totally changes, not only in the song, but also in the video towards the end. And that's where it kind of lost me a little bit, like,
jarring.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know. I just didn't think like, it was kind of like the 2:45, 3:45 marks that were like where Dean is kind of like, it's kind of like bringing out some like ad libs, and it's not totally working for me there. Okay. I appreciate what he was doing there, but yeah, it just didn't like totally work there for me.
I would say like vocally he sounded great, and that's what I wanted to hear more of.
Yeah.
It just, the aesthetic was very internet-esque, and I do like the internet, but I don't know. I feel like this was I don't know. It felt like just kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Because I feel like if you really like everything before it, you wouldn't necessarily want to suddenly be thrown into that sound.
For only just a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
And, maybe that was Dean stepping into their world a little more, and trying something new. And I appreciate it. And I think it's a cool idea. It just, I don't know. Like, it almost sounds like it kind of threw him for a loop. And, like, he was just sort of, like, throwing in these ad libs to, like, find something to, like,
fill the void.
I don't know. It's like, that's kind of the vibe. It didn't feel as comfortable to me as like the earlier parts do, because like I just love that whole like I know. It all just sounded so good together, and then they kind of interrupted the vibe, and I was kind of like, okay, well, I don't think you wanted it to be interrupted either, but always props for trying something new.
Right. Yeah, I mean, for those who haven't seen the video is very analog influenced, right? It's like a black and white kind of grainy film.
Those old
composition,
videos. It even has like the little it's like got like a throw to like those old film coming when they'd like put their mark at the beginning of a film or something.
And they're all have like the kind of vintage retro looking aviation.
Yeah, totally. Black and white.
Aviation outfit. I was like, aviation outfit. What do they wear? Is there a name for their getup?
Pilots.
The pilot outfit.
Pilot
you know what I'm talking
uniform.
about, with like the protective eyewear, the goggles, and
like a jet plane person,
that look,
or Yeah.
So they were
Air
just,
Force.
like running around. They were kind of dangling from the planes.
That was
and,
cool. And then you'd see like
falling. And,
right, and you'd see those cool like when they'd like triple or double them or like quadruple them. Like all those.
Yeah. The effects were dope.
For sure.
Some of the lyrics like really threw me for a loop. Like Dean just got a little bit explicit.
Oh, didn't he?
He was like something about sorry children, like cover your ears if you want to, but he was like, oh, I'll fuck you if you want me, or something like that. And I was like, whoa.
I thought I heard that wrong at first, and I was like,
no, you didn't hear it wrong. That's definitely what he said.
Hello.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was a little taken aback by that too, but hey, I mean, like I said, I'm just always here for someone doing something different.
Horizons in every sense.
In every sense. So, you know what? Good for you, Dean.
I do think this will grow on me as more kind of as summer comes along and you want something more kind of rooftop chill vibe. I think this is a really good track. So if you're into that, if you're into the internet, this is a great single for you.
Yeah, no, totally. So I think
now drop the Gallant collab. I know you have it, Dean. I know it's somewhere.
I know you have it.
I know there are photos of the two of them recording together. So
well, I'm just I'm sad. Like, did we know was it public that he was working with Sid before this all started being announced?
I don't really like to follow celebrities on social media, so I really don't. Like I even unfollowed like Drake, and
that means a lot actually.
Because I don't know. I think I'm scared that I'll see something I don't like, so I just kind of only follow them through news outlets now.
Because I'm trying to remember, because I know someone told me about it. I just can't remember if it was public or not.
Right. So my point being, they probably all teased it, both of them, but because I don't follow them, I just wasn't aware.
I can't. Right, but I mean, Dean once again bringing something fresh and new and exciting, and
I appreciate how he's always trying to push himself. It's like he knows what he likes, but he's willing to kind of expand on that. It's never something where you listen and you think, what, like, this doesn't make any sense.
Right. No, exactly. It never, right, exactly. And I think, this is maybe his probably the closest to him, quote unquote, not making sense, but I still think ultimately it worked. I'm a fan of the track. I think it was really cool. And I'm a fan of this collaboration. So keep doing what you're doing, Dean. Bring us the Gallant track. We're ready.
Give me the Gallant track now.
Yes. So let us know what you guys think of Sid, Dean, and Seventen, of course, too. But before that, we also got iKON.
iKON, yes.
Who are back after a bit.
Year.
Yeah, it's been like a year. Or
WYD was the last single, right?
Was that a year ago?
That was a year ago.
Dang, it doesn't seem like a year
like
ago.
Almost a year to the day. It's like it was end of May.
Dang, and that was just like a one-off single, right?
And that was not very memorable, to say the least. I hated that freaking filter where everything was kind of just like brighter and hazy and dreamlike. Ugh, it's horrible.
You hate when things are bright.
And the song was mediocre, to say the least. Anyway, oh wow, what a great segue into. Let me just bash them. Sorry. So iKON is back.
They are
with two very aggressive, bravado-laced singles. Yes. Right.
Bling Bling
and
B-Day.
I have thoughts on both, but I'll say off the bat, I would have to say sonically I like Bling Bling more. I don't know how to should we just talk about Bling Bling first?
Yeah, let's get it. I think I'm with you too. Bling Bling is my favorite of the two as well.
Okay. I like that I like the production of it. It's very beat heavy from the get-go. And it really sets the tone for, I think, their comeback in general, because I think they know that fans are like, well, what the hell have you been doing? I don't think time and resources have been used very well with iKON.
No, sadly.
So they're back with just I think with a renewed energy and hunger to succeed and prove people wrong.
Oh, that's interesting.
So and Bling Bling message essentially is like, we're freaking shiny, we're the shit, You know, we light everything up, you know, notice us, you know, very typical kind of bravado swagger
Right.
lyrics. So I mean, I like the song. I wouldn't say I love it, but I think this song kind of reflects them as a group.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, it was very, yeah, I have two different thoughts going on right now. Like, it's like, on one hand, yes, it felt like very them, very energetic, very like fierce and youthful, you know, like whatnot. On the other hand, I just couldn't shake the Big Bang feel of it all, you know, and it's like, and it's really tough when you're not only going, you know, have a similar feel and you know, sound to them, but also when you're from the same company and things like that. And, you know, they've talked so much about, I mean, it's probably YG's fault too, for just like always calling them like, you know, the new Big Bang or the next generation after Big Bang and things like that. And, you know, so on one hand, I enjoyed it, I liked it, but like it didn't, I don't know if it felt fresh enough to make them stand out.
No.
You know,
it's not really that fresh.
Yeah.
It does sound a little bit recycled, and it sounds like they're trying really hard.
Yeah.
The video just reiterates that. The video I had some issues with. I felt like it was like I said, trying too hard. It was bordering like appropriation for me. I didn't really like how they were just being so kind of like cliche with like the money and like you know, the way they were dressed, the rap hands everywhere. Bobby, I was like, Bobby, you gotta chill with that. It's like that's all he was doing.
Yeah.
So that kind of bothered me a little bit.
I don't, and I just like on top of that, like the fact that it's called Bling Bling, it was kind of like,
it was just,
from the back, I was just kind of like, oh no.
Right. It was just like that's just really cliche. Like, you know, like I don't know. It's just but I get it. Like they're trying to really push the idea that they're, you know, shiny and, you know.
Yeah.
So
so they did that. Yeah, and you know, like, and I'll say like there were some moments that I don't think you'd see. Like I'm even, you know, like those times where like they're cooking the like with those pancakes, or where they were like, you know, little like like that was something like I feel like you don't see. I felt like that was very K-pop or very Korean too. So I did think that was cool. But yeah, it just kind of, it didn't feel like it stood out enough to me to like to really make it, you know, kind of feel like a fresh, unique package.
Right. I will say I love the choreography. I feel like the choreography really elevated the visuals. I like the kind of dribbling between the legs move that they did. I thought that was really dope. Like it was interesting because the video feels, because I know they were going for like a retro hip hop look with the styling and everything.
Right.
So at some points it felt really dated because that's what they were going for, but then other parts felt very current. The choreography felt current. Obviously the lyrics. So yeah, it just, I was always I was torn, you know, throughout the video, but I think the choreography is definitely what I enjoyed most about it.
And I remember from their debut, and I was a big fan of them with their debut and things like that like they had this sort of basketball feel. It felt very, it was very sporty. It was cool, and I was glad to see that wasn't lost entirely. And they had, you saw like the basketball court symbol lean or whatever kind of on the street, you know, those things were cool. I really did get like the basketball moves a lot too. Like it's kind of like a cute thing, but like it also looks cool, and like it didn't feel corny to me. I liked it a lot.
like that. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The styling was kind of tragic. You know, I don't really like mismatched prints. It's never my thing. I thought Bobby's hair was a mess.
You know, in theory, I want to like that because I love when things are like half and half. In actuality, I did not like it. I'm like sad to say.
It's never, I just, I don't know. I guess my favorite, if I had to pick a favorite look, it would just be the plain like all black hoodies and although
what a look
But I feel like that at least fit the vibe of the scene,
Sure,
or what
yeah.
they were doing in that scene.
Right.
But there were some moments where I appreciated the animation, the animated looks.
Uh-huh.
Who was the member who was like dropping the coins through his hands,
Ooh,
talking about how much money they have and all that?
no idea.
I
I
don't
can't
know his
remember
name,
that
but
scene. I mean,
I liked him. Yeah. I actually like. Did you like the end where they were popping bottles and then the whole kind of beat changed a little bit? And they just started
oh, it
chanting
just got really
like
chancy.
pop the bottles
Oh,
or whatever.
right. Well, again, it kind of felt like a Big Bang,
Yeah.
like yeah, 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 all right. But or like just like I was like I've seen this before, and
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know. In my opinion, it didn't have. It once again, it just didn't have that same impact that like I'd be like, okay, I'm waiting for this,
Yeah.
and maybe I shouldn't be judging it off of so many like past songs and things like that. Like, people are allowed to, other groups are allowed to have a crazy breakdown at the end, but
Mhm.
I don't know, like at least it wasn't like B-Day, but
Oh
the,
God.
which I don't know.
So
Did you enjoy the ending?
it was okay. I kind of liked it. Maybe it's just because I like the change of pace a little
Yeah.
bit. I thought I don't know. I don't know how I felt about like the random thoughts they threw in there. Like,
Oh, at the very end, or
yeah,
like at
like,
the
oh, look at these chicks with their fishnet stockings. Like, I don't know.
the
It's
thoughts
just
at the end.
the random thoughts. I just throw some thoughts in there.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I think overall it's okay. I think I like the pacing of it.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And I don't think I at least maybe some people might think I'm wrong, but I feel like when iKON didn't have as much to prove maybe as Winner did, because Winner had like a new or had a member leave.
Mhm.
It felt like they'd been gone longer, and
Right.
I think maybe
Definitely.
timing wise they maybe had been. So like while Winner, I felt like, and I know fans are gonna hate me for comparing them, but like it inevitably happens. Like Winner really brought something like fresh and like
Yeah.
different, and like I was really like impressed and
Yeah.
surprised. But iKON kind of brought what I was expecting, which isn't bad, but like it also I didn't felt like brought them to the next step,
Yeah.
which is like what your next
It
release
was just
should
like
be.
a louder, punchier version, kind of.
Right, like and I'm trying to a song actually like what you do, and like actually I feel like almost stood out to me more
Mhm.
than like I can't I really remember their like really like bangerific releases,
Well,
like
I mean, the only one I really like is My Type, which was
My
their,
Type.
was that
Everyone
the
likes My Type.
debut?
Yeah, it was either debut or like pre-release,
Like
but
that's
not
the type of I
pre-release.
like that kind of mellow R&B hip
Right.
hop
A lot of people like that
I
one. I
love
love that one
song,
too.
and I think
Yeah.
Bobby sounds so great on it because he's not like on one, like
Yeah.
fucking hopping around, like shouting all the time. Like,
Right. No, it's true. It's true. And I think that works so well for them. And I think like it almost kind of like messed with their like, oh, but wait, we want to be like the crazy hip hop dude. So
mhm.
well, that's the thing is that I was kind of expecting B-Day to be like the chiller or something. I was like, oh, they're probably going to do two things. I bet one will be
Yeah.
chill, one will be not. But like,
But it wasn't.
it wasn't.
Like
And
it was almost just like another version of Bling Bling, but
right. And at first I thought I was going to like it more actually, because I thought the initial beat was really cool.
yeah.
But then it got into the chorus, and I did not like that at all. How does it go? It goes like wow, 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 like the wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow. So I was just like, no, what is this?
I will say what I appreciated was that it was
Unique.
they incorporated a lot of like social kind of phrases and things that were very particular to Korean culture. So like
That's
I think
interesting.
like
Right.
I think the bees thing. So bees,
the
like
bees.
the phrase for or the word for that, the term for that. Sorry, is like birthday or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. So it sounds very similar to birthday. So it's like a play on that term that's why they kept referencing bees. And like the wah 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 was supposed to be like buzzing, I guess, or kind of just like kind
Little
of
did I know.
representing them like coming for you as like a beehive or a group or something, you know what I mean? Like causing a buzz maybe. And then they reference honey because I think in Korea there's a saying that goes making money and eating honey or something, and it's like a way of saying that you have a very easygoing job, like you're kind of you're making money and relaxing at the same time, so you're not living a difficult life.
Interesting.
So honey, bees,
I
bee
love
day. So like, yeah, like if I hadn't looked up the lyrics,
Oh, I see.
it wouldn't have connected with me. And the scene where their faces were on bees, I was like, what the
my
fuck
God.
is happening?
I was, yeah,
You know,
I was too. And then, but hearing all this, it kind of, I mean, I'm always thankful that you do this extra research for us, Tina, because it always makes our analysis that much better. But yeah, it's, you know, I like when we kind of have those like things that feel very Korean or very like, you know, specific that you wouldn't, you know, this would not make sense in like an English song or whatever, you know, something like that. But it's so cool that we kind of have this,
like, it's a perfect example of certain things they get lost in translation and takes away from the overall impact of the message and the song.
Right.
So you're saying you just didn't like the chorus at all?
I mean, knowing this makes me not hate it as much, but I don't know. Once again, I didn't feel like it brought anything to a next level. It kind of like, you know, what's the overall message that they're just these rowdy, crazy guys?
It
who
was
like,
very like, we're here to have a good time. It's too early to go home. Let's keep popping bottles.
Right.
You know? Which I guess like for summer, going into summer, it makes sense.
It works. Yes. But I don't know why. Maybe I just expected more. I remember just being very, very impressed by
I think we just
iKON's
have such
debut.
high expectations, or we've just been waiting so long for something to really resonate with us and to really like hook us with iKON.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I'm just sort of like, it almost seems like, you know, there's so much competition with like boy bands in particular right now. There's this whole new sort of age of boy bands, and like, oh my gosh, like if you're not bringing it, like what are you doing? So kind of, it just makes me think like, iKON, come on. But trying to see if there were any
they actually did a reference a Big Bang lyric in there
Oh,
about
they
like
did?
the girls getting down or whatever.
Oh.
So it's like they're, you know, tipping their hats to their sunbaes, their seniors.
Yes.
Right? Is that the right word?
Sunbathe memes. I always hear that word. I'm never actually sure what it means.
But yeah, I just thought the concept was really freaking random for this. It was just like they put on these engineered contacts that bring them into this kind of
like
jungle,
tribal, savage
world where they throw a party and pop bottles.
Oh no!
And more, you know, thoughts come out.
Does Bobby have his eyebrow pierced? Was that real?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I love eyebrow piercings. I'm like, oh, is he bringing that back? Maybe I'll finally do it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I didn't dislike it. I just I think visually I didn't like this one as much.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. What would you say is your favorite release of the week?
17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Me too.
Hands down. I never thought I'd say that.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Because 17, they were always very lukewarm with me.
Really? I thought you enjoyed them.
But hopefully everyone else likes the song too.
Yeah, we'll see. They get my vote as well. So be sure to vote on your favorite release of the week as 17 iKON or Dean and Sid. And then you can listen to all the releases we talk about this week on the playlist that we put on Fuse.tv too. Let's get into some charts because we have been reviewing
We've been reviewing. I'm
experts.
looking at the time. I'm like, crap.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Hope you all have extra time to listen to us.
Hope you don't mind. But no, we got more great stuff coming up. And we'll just get into the charts real quick. The top 5 K-pop songs on US iTunes right now is coming in number 5 is Not Today by BTS. Song will never go away. And they had a good week. So
they had a good weekend.
4, Signal by Twice. Has the song grow on you anymore?
I actually haven't listened to it again.
Grew on me a little more, I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, B-Day by iKON.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, coming up. Number 2,
Bling
Bling
Bling.
Bling by iKON.
I was gonna say B-Day better not be above Bling Bling.
And number 1 is Don't Wanna Cry, Dun Dun Dun, We Ain't Ever
Yay.
Growing Older by Seventen. Yes.
Such a good song.
Can't tell if I can't remember if that's their first number 1 on the show or not, but yeah. So congrats,
I don't
17.
know. Yay.
Good stuff. And then, but we also got to give a congrats too as we get into our deep cut of the week, where we talk about a topic, issue, news resonating in the community, was the BTS takeover this weekend at the Billboard Music Awards. Holy moly!
The historic moment.
Historic. You know, I saw that a lot. You know, a lot of, well, you know, I'll just kind of first and foremost say, you know, I've been like obviously watching this a lot. I do a lot of stuff with Billboard. I've been writing for them for years now. Started as an intern, write a lot about K-pop stuff for them. And, you know, it's just been such a cool moment for me to watch, just to, you know that, you know, this has been a company that has been so supportive of K-pop and community, of its community, and, you know, giving a platform to this, you know, scene and, you know, these artists and things like this. And then for so long, and then to really, you know, not, you know, Psy was definitely embraced by like Billboard Music Awards too, and he actually was the first Korean artist, I believe, period, to like win a Billboard Music Awards. But people are saying this is history making because for the first time it's a group, and for the longest time the groups just weren't connecting in that way with like American audiences, which like, you know, the groups look different, they have a different feel than something like Psy, obviously. And, you know, here we are, 7-member group, BTS, not only, you know, winning this award, that was, they earned the nomination based on the charts, but they ultimately got it because fans voted. But they beat the fandoms of Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande.
Justin Bieber won every year, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a good point, too, is that I think Justin Bieber, he had like a streak. He won this every year, and like it was always his award for like since like 2001, I think, or sorry, 2011, 2001.
No
my
one
gosh,
can top
was he
all the
alive in
Beliebers.
2001? Yeah, like, and that's the
Was
thing.
he
is that,
alive in 2011? He was just a fetus.
no, it's like, so like he really like yeah, it's always been him. Like the fans have always just come out for him, and then now here you go with like BTS, not only like ending a streak like this.
It was by a landslide. It wasn't even compared. Like Justin's votes or all of their votes were a fraction.
Really? Where were these? I don't know where these totals were. That's what everyone keeps saying. That
like I saw. I think Billboard actually tweeted the numbers.
Oh, did they? Ooh,
and they weren't even the final numbers.
Oh,
it was absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
It was like at the time I think like 2.5 million compared to like 170 million. It was like or 22. I don't know. Like it was like they were the only one who had like triple millions.
Yeah. Interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah. It was something. It was really cool to like see like just such a support, like a wave of support come out, because, you know, and I saw a lot of you know, BTS and K-pop fans talking about this beforehand, like, oh, it's great that, you know, BTS is attending the awards, you know, but like I'm nervous for them. Like, what if people are mean to them, or what if people make fun of them? And this has happened before, you know, like there's been some awkward K-pop moments, like Western moments, you know, like it's certainly happened. Like there's been weird what do you call those things? Things that get lost in translation, people looking uncomfortable next to each other.
Right.
You know, I think we're all thinking of certain examples in particular, but, you know, it was so awesome to just see not only was BTS really, you know, they looked great on the red carpet, but so many people were showing them a lot of support, a lot of nice interviews were happening. A lot. I saw them. Oh my gosh, they were talking to everyone. They were talking
Designer.
Oh yeah, not only the celebrities too, but yeah, like media.
Designer was like using words that I don't know, that they clearly cannot use back.
Oh
but
gosh,
like,
yeah.
It was just like it was funny though. Like it was a very natural exchange.
It was totally natural, and you know, like it just showed that they really know. They really could, you know, hold themselves up. And, shout out to their team, their Korean team, their US team, just like, there were so many, like I saw them get interviewed by Good Morning America, and I saw them get interviewed, get looks from like Vogue and even smaller outlets. It was just cool. Like they clearly got there, they came there with like a mission, and they came there to like really, they wanted to represent themselves well. They weren't, they weren't being media shy, or they weren't being, just sticking their nose up and saying we're not doing any press. Like I think a lot of K-pop acts do when they go to America. BTS knew that this was their time, and they took
make the most of it.
Yeah, they took and they looked awesome. Like they very simple but very dapper.
They looked great.
They looked, and taking pictures with Camila Cabello, Halsey.
Halsey like loved them. Camila was like she was, hugging all of them. She's like, oh my God, there's so many of you.
I saw that. I was like, oh, come on, girl. But
I really love that moment when they actually won when they announced the award. And people were standing up for them.
That was very cool.
Them.
Yeah,
That was so dope.
Yeah, and I think, shout out to also the fans that came out, because I was I got told, I was talking to some people who were actually at the awards show, some of like my like Billboard friends and stuff like that, and they were saying, oh my gosh, there were like 500 fans outside, and 400 of the fans just outside the arena were BTS fans. Then like inside the arena, they were also screaming for them. Like these fans bought tickets. They like really showed up to make sure that like this group was supported, because there's been things where like an international act wins, or an unexpected person wins, or and it's just like radio silence, because people don't know to cheer or whatnot. And like I think that's happened to like Fifth Harmony. It's happened to other people. It definitely happens to these groups that are really popular, but maybe haven't broken through mainstream media 100%. So it was just so cool to see them really celebrated, and it was just a major moment to see a Korean act not get to have their award televised. Rap Monster did a great job at speaking both in English.
Is so good. I understand he's a genius, like literally on paper he's a genius.
Self-taught,
which
found
helps
out.
the fact that he can just pick up languages very easily.
Insane.
But his pronunciation was so good.
Like he sounds awesome.
And he sounded natural. He was very personable.
Yeah, and he
very approachable.
Right, and he gave he even like gave a bit in Korean too, which was so cool, that like we were seeing sort of this bilingual moment on, it's on ABC. ABC is like the most American television, station you can, think about, so it's just like, it was just such a major proud moment. And I really do think, this is just a result of, Rain getting voted on, up on the Time 100, to Big Bang getting on the EMAs, to Girls' Generation at the YouTube Music Awards, to, all the polls they went, it was just, this is just the next step of like, there's so many major moments that like have happened, and this was sort of like the next one. And it's always nerve-wracking how it's going to go. And I thought they did really, really well.
And I love the moment, the post interview where Rap Monster said, next year we want to come back and perform if you'll have us.
Right. And that's the thing, is that, like so many fans were wondering if they were going to perform or not. And, you have to remember that like I was saying, the ABC, probably the most American, television station there is. And, if there was ever an opportunity, I could definitely see something like, the Billboard Music Awards or the American Music Awards, where they're it's not like the Grammys, where the Grammys kind of really do focus on the artists that are nominated. But those award shows do give chances to new artists. There are a lot of new artists that performed at the Billboard Awards this year. There was like Julia Michaels and, who else do we see? We saw like just a big breadth of talent. Like Camila Cabello gave her first TV performance there.
That's right,
So they're and I remember 5 Seconds of Summer got their first performance at the Billboard Music Awards. There's definitely, if things continue on, and if like, I know this is like a huge goal of like K-pop in general, but especially for those BTS fans to get a single to chart on like the Hot 100 singles chart, that could be a major moment, and that could, who knows, maybe that could parlay into a performance. It's really tough to say, and but it's still very exciting.
That BTS already has the support of a lot of artists like Halsey, like
Oh yeah.
Camilla, who have strong teen fan bases.
Totally.
And so,
That's a good point. I didn't
you
even think
know,
about that. Yeah, like kind of seeing them give their cosign to a group
mhm.
like that. I
Not
would
that
say
they necessarily need it, because we don't, because it's always like a touchy subject when people
right.
like want to make it seem like K-pop needs
Yes. Yes.
co-signing from
100%.
Western media,
Right.
when clearly without Western media they voted BTS up there and it was
Right.
not an issue.
Right. No,
But if this
100%.
is the market that they want, that they desire, then they do need some support.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's just what you do when you're a celebrity.
Yeah.
You take photos with other people who are
Right.
celebrities who
Right.
you like.
You got to network.
A lot of people, I mean, like, let's be honest, like when Chris Brown goes to an award show, you don't really see him like does Chris Brown even go to award shows anymore days? You know, like he's not someone that a lot of people are like, you know, always posing with and, you know, taking selfies with and things like that. I think because we know why. You know, it's like he kind of has a controversial image. You take photos with everyone's dying to get that Beyonce photo, that Adele photo, or that Lorde photo. Whatever. I don't know why I brought up Lorde, but
I love Lorde.
Stop. No. But no, at the same time too, you know, like I saw it was a little, you know, of course, you know, these things kind of, there's always the good and the bad, right? And like I remember a lot of people, you know, like just kind of like saying like, "Oh, this is not a big thing or whatever." It's like, and it's like oh, you know, you can't forget about all the other things that artists have done before them. And it's like, I don't think anyone's forgetting about them. I think people are. Yeah, and that's the thing is, I don't think by bringing up one artist you're diminishing anyone else's artists. And like, you know, they're like, oh, like
the theme we've been trying to
such a theme of my life, of my life work.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this is never gonna go away. Like,
I know, and it really breaks my heart every time I try to, you know, like you can't, you know, when you're, it's not like BTS is gonna, you know, do an interview with like, say they're talking to Access, they're not going to be like, well, hello, Access Hollywood. Well, we're influenced by Drunken Tiger, JK, and he was one of the first rappers in, you know, Korea who really brought Korean hip hop to Korea, and then, you know, but we also, you know, there's groups we need to thank along the way. It's like, no, there's no time for that, you know, like they're here for this. Right. There's no time for that, and you know, you can only kind of hope that it has this sort of tide effect to it, that when people see, kind of like how Psy was. You know, a lot of people had mixed feelings about how Psy and Gangnam Style were kind of this representation of K-pop. Right. But you look at the numbers, you look at how something like iKON has grown, you look at the album sales, it has a tide effect. When one rises, all the other boats also rise. And, you know, this is only sort of making for a better future and a brighter future for K-pop and things like that. And your favorite artists could and very well may already have more opportunities as a result if BTS isn't your favorite, you know. And it's just so tough.
We're fighting for representation.
Exactly. And there was actually this really awesome BuzzFeed article. I don't know if you saw it. I referenced it in an article I wrote for Fuse.
I actually haven't looked at it yet, but I think I know what you're talking about.
It's actually my friend, her name's Tanya Chen. She and I went to New York University together in journalism class together, of all things. And it's so awesome to see her, you know, writing for BuzzFeed and things like that. But it was about how BTS being on television sort of started this whole conversation and opened up this dialogue about Asian representation on television and in media. And, you know, some people were just, you know, I think the tagline of the article was called like, some people wanted to call them those Asians, but these people are showing why this is a larger conversation. Because like there were some, and I knew this was going to happen, and it wasn't as bad, I think as it's been in the past, because I think they did represent themselves so well. But like, you know, calling them those, who are those Asians on stage, or whatever it might have been, just things that are really tough and heartbreaking to hear. And then, but also realizing that like there was a lot of people supporting them, and the fact that it was fan voted meant there was sort of like this backing to kind of defend them a little more. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting takeaway. And I hope it does open up. Yeah, because I mean, were there any other Asian artists at the Billboard Music Awards? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not from overseas like
nope,
that. So,
not like that.
And it ties in very well with the month of May.
Yes.
Asian Pacific American Heritage Month.
Yeah,
A lot has happened this month, so
a lot
yeah,
has. It's
the
been
universe is on board.
the universe is really on board. It's very true, and like that's the thing is that I'll see things like oh, like that's the thing is that like I just don't know why these moments can't be just kind of like a little more like universally celebrated. It's like they did so well, and like let's think about like how we can advance it, like with like more representation or more international music like representation or more minority representation. Not you didn't mention these people and you're bringing down these people, and like no, that's the past mindset.
It's just strange to me. My mind just never went there.
Oh, and that's the thing is that it's so disappointing to me when I see that, and it's like I want to be excited, and I totally get where these fans are coming from, and I feel you and I hear you and I see your comments. Believe me, I see the comments. My gosh, you guys don't let me live any of this down. It's so stressful and anxiety inducing, but at the same time, I do think it's just like, let's talk about the larger thing here, and like let's all lift each other up here. And I think that's and I see things like, oh, like wow, like Billboard, like, or they knew what they were doing, like K-pop fans, they just wanted to get K-pop fans to vote because they know they vote a lot. It's like, well, then why didn't they bring them in like years ago? Like, no, they had to earn the honor first and foremost, and then they got brought on. And it's like I don't know, like it's just very weird to me that like or like, oh, look at these celebrities trying to jump on BTS's popularity. It's like, you're saying that because you're a fan of and you're watching the scene so much. Like this is BTS is a very small blip on like the overall pop radar. Like this is all good stuff in the end. It's like, come on, you guys, like you're never gonna be happy if you're always bringing up these things. We
definitely talked about this on an earlier episode where I don't remember the exact topic, but we were saying something about how K-pop fans, you can't win with them. They want recognition. They want people to approve of K-pop, and yet when people do it, they're like, you don't know anything about K-pop. You weren't here since the beginning. Blah 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 blah. Like, now you just like them because you want more tweets, you want more retweets, and it's an easy way.
It's
so
like,
it's
oh
like,
my
well,
gosh.
I don't know what you want them to do then.
Yeah,
So,
well, and it's just like that's not the only. There's so many other factors that go into all these things, and it's like I've been told in so many different ways why K-pop isn't important, why K-pop is important, why this artist is important, why this artist isn't important, by everyone from fans to media people to editors. It's just like there's no right answer, and that's the thing is that like I just always am so taken aback when it's just like not this sort of like when it just gets so vile and so vicious, and like it's like, oh my gosh, you guys, like this is good stuff ultimately. Like no one is bringing down your artist or any of the other artists or any of the accomplishments of any other artist to lift up another artist. And that's sort of like, I just hope that's sort of like the takeaway ultimately, is that like BTS even themselves always refer to themselves as, we're a K-pop group, we're from Korea. So many K-pop acts don't even want that term. They just kind of, I see a lot of people shy away from that term. BTS is very proud of being a K-pop group, and
and I think that's why they have done so well. They know who they are. They push a consistent message within their music, and they're very comfortable with their own identity.
For sure.
So,
and it took a while to get there, and now they're enjoying the benefits of it all.
We see it.
We see it. Literally, they look like they were glowing.
It looks great.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for my rants. Hopefully I didn't get too emotional during this segment. But yeah, no, I think it's just, we're all kind of, what are we going to call this segment? Celebrating BTS's big BBMA win. Let's call it that, because we are truly trying to celebrate it and not focus on any negative, and trying to say that yes, this is I do truly hope that this has a tide effect, and it does lift everyone up, and it can only go up from here. It can only get bigger, like that's the awesome thing, is that it's not only going to get bigger for BTS and K-pop artists and Korean artists, but maybe more international artists, more representation for minorities. That's what we're all about here. That's why we have this podcast, to give a voice to something that we don't see having a voice. And that's why you guys have made this a success. So,
well said, Jeff.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting so emotional and passionate over here. But so I'm just gonna
Jeff's
cut
out of breath over here.
Gonna cut myself off. It's been a week of just a lot of emotions.
Yes.
So thank you guys for listening.
Yeah,
First,
if you kept it, this has been a long episode.
If you've stayed with us all the way
if you're
to now,
still here with us,
if you're still with us, we love you. We thank you. We're just gonna cut this off right now and say thank you guys, and we'll see you next week as always. So as always, just
vote and
vote.
On the
Let us comment. Hashtag K-Stop.
Tweet us.
Thank you so much. So as always, this has been Jeff.
And this is Tina.
See you next week. Bye-bye.